Yep.
3 trains and a bus were bombed, killing 56 people in London in 7/7/2005. That morning, an anti-terror exercise just happened to be taking place with the exact same bombing scenario at the exact same train stations that he.
Because at 9:30 this morning, we were actually running an exercise for over a company of 1,000 people in London, based on simultaneous bombs going off precisely at the railway stations that happened this morning. So I still have the hairs on the back of my neck standing upright.
To get this quite straight, you were running an exercise to see how you would cope with this, and it happened while you were running the exercise.
Precisely.
Supposed to believe is some kind of coincidence, there was also an anti-terrorist drill going on 7/7. And again, just like 9/11, they were talking about attacks on the same targets, the same kind of tube stations, and exactly the same time as the actual attack happened, providing some kind of cover.
Yeah, this thing has already blown my mind 15,000 times. Oh, it's all got grade screened.
It's okay.
The 9/11 troops. Criminal elements within the U.S. government staged a false flag terror attack on its own citizens in order to manipulate public perception into supporting its agenda. They have been doing these for years. 9/11 was an inside job.
Fact. True.
That, my friends, is the 9/11 truth.
I am absolutely appalled at how much people in this country do not think.
Since September 11th, military spending has increased by $100 billion a year in the U.S. Nearly all of the Bill of Rights have been subverted. 2 preemptive wars killing over 800,000 civilians conservatively have been waged. And that is just the beginning.
And when I think about how many Americans were killed in New York City, and believing as I do that this thing was a setup job, this is a textbook operation that Nazis used, and they've used it over and over again. America has been suckered in.
So this raises questions to me about the Nazi war. What if it was staged?
No, that wasn't staged.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. The dollar buys a nickel's worth.
I know, but think about it, dude.
Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to write. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Actually, we should just yell that in servers. Every time we die.
My life has value.
And it reverbs. Look at all the people jumping out.
But you're free fall. I'm like Chuck Norris. I'm like Chuck Norris. I don't need a parachute.
Parachute.
I'm going commando.
I love this. This is great.
It's black. It's iron. My wife thinks I'm all right. I called her and said I was leaving the building. I was fine, and bang. Two broken windows.
You just heard someone die. How do you feel?
Pretty much. I feel fine.
I feel great. In fact, I have an erection.
2.5 inches.
Fuck you.
When hostilities commenced in Europe in 1939, it was realized that the Americans had no intention of entering the war. But they believed that this country could be enticed into the war in very much the same way that it was enticed into the last one. They planned, first, to prepare the United States for foreign war under the guise of American defense. Second, to involve us in the war, step by step, without our realization. Third, to create a series of incidents which would force us into the actual conflict.
Like 9/11.
These plans were, of course, to be covered and assisted by the full power of their propaganda. Our theaters soon became filled with plays portraying the glory of war. Newsreels lost all semblance of objectivity, and they have used the war to justify the restriction of congressional power and the assumption of dictatorial procedures on the part of the President and his appointees. A fear campaign was inaugurated. We cannot allow the natural passions and prejudices of other peoples to lead our country to destruction.
Creepy Light Show again. Part 3. Don't mind the men behind the curtain.
I love that.
That actually is quite funny innuendo. I have yet to know what it means.
It's from the goddamn...
There's something greater behind the throne, greater than the king himself. Okay, these quotes are going by too fast. I'm not going to read them.
The real truth of the matter is that a financial element of large interests has owned the government since the days of Andrew Jackson.
1775, the American Revolutionary War began as the American colonies sought to detach from England and its oppressive monarchy.
Where,
though many reasons are cited for the revolution, one in particular sticks out as the prime cause. That King George III of England outlawed the interest-free, independent currency the colonies were producing and using for themselves, in turn forcing them to borrow money from the central bank.
Did you know the original Alice in Wonderland
the Wizard of Oz
story was way more...
Benjamin Franklin later wrote, the refusal of King George III to allow the colonies to operate an honest money system which freed the ordinary man from the clutches of money manipulators was probably the cause of the revolution.
The original Alice in Wonderland was very, very gruesome.
However, its battle against the central bank concept and the corrupt, greed-filled men associated with it had just begun.
Alice in Wonderland.
So what is a central bank?
Nightmare stuff.
A central bank is an institution that produces the currency of an entire nation.
I told you I was hardcore!
Two specific powers are inherent in central banking. The control of interest rates and the control of the money supply, or inflation. The central bank does not simply supply a government's economy with money, it loans it to them at interest. Then, through the use of increasing and decreasing the supply of money, the central bank regulates the value of the currency being issued. It is critical to understand the entire structure of this system can only produce one thing in the long run.
Oh shit.
Debt.
I'm at 116.33. Sorry.
Every single dollar produced by the central bank is loaned at interest. That means every single dollar produced is actually the dollar plus a certain percent of debt based on that dollar. And since the central bank has the monopoly over the production of the currency for the entire country, and they loan each dollar out with immediate debt attached to it, where does the money to pay for the debt come from?
Up your anus!
It can only come from the central bank again. Which means the central bank has to perpetually increase its money supply to temporarily cover the outstanding debt created, which in turn, since that new money is loaned out at interest as well, creates even more debt. The end result of this system without fail is slavery, for it is impossible for the government and thus the public to ever come out of the self-generating debt. The founding fathers of this country